Hi, I'm Roman. I'm 9 years old. I'm going to start teaching you how to draw SpongeBob characters. Today we're going to be drawing SpongeBob. When we're done, it's going to look like this. So to start off, we're going to draw a squiggly square in the middle of our paper. But don't make the squiggle, but make a lot of squiggles on the side, like this. And then after that, draw two curved rectangles that don't finish on each side. And then coming out of those two rectangles, draw two lines with a circle on the edge of them. And then under that square, we're going to draw a rectangle. And then when you finish that rectangle, you're going to draw almost like those rectangles. Draw those rectangles, but on the edges, they're not pointed, they're round pointed. And then when you are done those, you're going to draw two lines down, two lines coming from each of those rectangles. And then on the edge of that, draw a curve. And then draw a rectangle, but don't finish it. Leave a little space from it and the curved line. And then draw a curved line down. And then make a circle on the edge of the curved line, like a music note. And then from the front of it, draw a line down. Like draw a squiggled line down like that. And then in that circle we made, make a smaller circle. And then once you're done that, make a curved line coming up from the rectangle into the line to make a 3D. And then once you're done with that, you're going to color everything in except the inside of that curved line and the inside of that circle. And once you're done with that, you can grab a marker and outline the shoe. And then color it in. And then there's your shoes of SpongeBob. And now, grab out your pencil again, and we're gonna start on the face. So to start off the face, we're gonna draw very lightly one line down the middle. And then, from each of those rectangles, draw a line across. And then, right where those two lines cross, you're going to make a curve that comes back around but doesn't connect. And then you can go over that in marker. And then once you've got that, lightly draw a circle that goes into the nose. Actually, draw two circles that go into the nose. And then if there's a line going inside of any circle, you can erase that. But don't go over the circle. And if there's any lines inside of the nose, you can also erase that. But don't go over the eyes in marker yet. So then to start on then you're gonna make a tiny little three tiny little rectangles on this circle. And then you're gonna make three tiny little rectangles on this circle. And you can go over those eyelashes. And then once you did that, to make the cheeks, where this middle line starts, you're gonna make a bump coming off of that line. And then you can erase the rest of that line that you don't need. And if there's any lines in the cheek, you can erase that. And then we're gonna do the almost exact same thing, but this time, this line, we're gonna curve up and make that bump. Actually, just like that. Just like that. And then on the top of the cheeks, draw two dots. I forgot to do something. See this line right here? You can erase that. And then under those two dots, you draw one dot. And then you can outline the eyes and the cheeks. And then inside of the eye, draw one circle in each eye. And then inside of those circles, draw a littler circle. And then that littler circle inside of the eye, inside of the pupil, color in. And then you can outline it. Then pick up your pencil again and erase the line that goes in the middle of the eyes and the one that goes down. You don't need those anymore. I mean, you could have kept them if you want to separate the teeth, but we're not there yet. And then from these two cheeks, you draw a little smile. And then you draw two little squares coming out from them. And then you can outline that. If you want to keep his mouth closed, you can just keep that. But if you want his mouth open, follow what I'm about to do. So then, where those lines touch the cheeks, you're going to draw a giant curved line that connects. And then you're going to draw a little curved line that doesn't touch the bottom of the mouth. And then draw another curved line that comes out of that to make the tongue. And then you can outline that. If you want to color the mouth in black, you can, but those aren't the right colors, so I don't suggest it. And then under the mouth, you're going to draw one curved line, like a smile under the mouth. And then you're going to bring that up and down again to make another smile, like a jawline. And then you can outline that jawline. And then, to make his holes, you can make one circle up in the corner, up in that corner, and then draw one circle little circle over by his mouth, and one larger circle over by the edge of his body, and then one circle, one little circle, one big circle, one little circle, one big circle. And then you can go over those circles. And then once you did that, you can outline the body. And then if you have a little pencil lines inside of your head, then you can just erase it, or as I like to call it, clean up your drawing of any erase marks. And then once you did that, we're going to move on to the arms. So, see this line, so then those two lines that go up, erase the line that's under them. And then bring those two lines in a little bit. And then make a little smile to connect them. And then you can outline the sleeve. Then you can clean up the sleeves if you have any marks. And then for the hand, you're gonna bring this up and make a finger. And then curve and make another finger. And then curve again and make another finger. And you come down and curve to make his thumb. And then do the arm. And then in the inside of the hand, you can make a little bump. And then you can erase any marks that you have. And then on the other side, you can do the same thing, but the other way. So I can go up, curve, one finger, curve, two fingers, curve, three fingers, curve, and thumb. And then bump. And then after that, you have his head and his arms. And then now we're gonna move on to his pants. So to start off his pants, try to get into the middle. You're gonna draw a little semicircle. And then after that, you're gonna make two curved lines going out. And then make them come back in a little bit to make the tie. And then you can outline the bow tie. And then you do for some other part of the shirt, draw two curved lines coming down from the tie, and then make a longer line coming up from it. And then from the edges of the tie, like right here and here, draw two lines out that separate the shirt and the pants. And then for the belt, we're going to draw one rectangle coming out. And draw one rectangle coming out from the side of his tie. And then another rectangle coming out from the other side of his tie. And then draw another rectangle out where you can also put two rectangles if you have room. But you can put as many as you would like. And then you can outline his pants. Oh, we're so close to being done. All we have to do after we outline the pants is we have to do the pant sleeve and like the legs and the socks. So you can keep the marker out that you're tracing with because you can trace the pant leg and the real leg. And then a little above the middle of the leg, you're going to draw a curved line. And then a little down from the curved line, you can draw another curved line. And then under that, another curved line. And then under that, another curved line. And under that, another curved line. Like that. And then once you do that, there is your SpongeBob. But wait, you forgot something. An artist always has to sign his or her name. That's my name, but you get to sign your name. See ya. I'll see you in the next drawing. I bet you guys did awesome. See ya.